paralyzed daughter of businessman, was sad and alone on her birthday until a single father changed the scene. Ashley Wilson turned 18 that Saturday afternoon, but the weight in her chest was far heavier than any birthday joy. She watched through the large window of the luxury condominium's party hall in the Upper East Side as her father's employees rushed back and forth, setting up tables and adjusting the expensive flowers she hadn't even chosen. That's when she heard her father's irritated voice on the phone, complaining to someone about a delay. Robert Wilson, owner of one of the largest construction companies in New York City, didn't tolerate mistakes, especially not on his only daughter's birthday. Ashley sighed and adjusted the blanket over her legs, trying to hide the discomfort she always felt when she noticed people's pitying looks. "Dad, do you really need to throw this whole party?" she asked for the third time that morning. "Of course I do, Ashley. You're my daughter, and today you turn 18. All my business partners will be here with their families." The word families echoed bitterly in the young woman's mind. Ever since her mother had left for France 2 years ago, claiming she couldn't handle her daughter's new reality, gatherings at home had become cold, calculated affairs. The accident had happened 3 years ago. Ashley was coming back from dance school when a drunk driver ran a red light. In seconds, all her dreams of becoming a ballerina shattered along with her spine. Since then, the wheelchair had become her constant companion and pitying stares her greatest annoyance. "The first guests are starting to arrive," announced Martha, the housekeeper who had worked there for over 10 years. "Do you want me to help you freshen up?" "No need, Martha. I'm fine like this." Ashley wore a light blue dress her father had specially commissioned for the occasion. It was beautiful, expensive, but she felt it didn't match her mood. She preferred her simple, comfortable clothes, but she knew today wasn't the day to argue with Robert. The first guests arrived promptly at 3 in the afternoon. Executives in dark suits, accompanied by their elegant wives and well-behaved children. They all greeted Ashley with the same forced smile she knew so well, made some comment about how brave or strong she was, and then headed to the appetizer tables. "Happy birthday, Ashley," said David Thompson, her father's partner in several ventures. 18. Now you can start learning more about the family business." She just smiled politely and nodded. Family business. As if she could really take part in anything beyond these social performances. The hours dragged by slowly. Ashley watched the other families chatting animatedly, children playing around the hall, adults discussing investments and projects. She felt like a decoration, present but not really part of anything. Then she heard someone loudly apologizing at the entrance. "Sorry I'm late, Mr. Wilson. The babysitter cancelled last minute and I had no one to leave my daughter with." Ashley turned her chair toward the voice and saw a young man around 30 holding the hand of a girl about 6 years old. He wore a suit that clearly wasn't designer, but was impeccably kept. His brown hair was neatly combed and there was genuine nervousness on his face. "Michael Carter," she murmured, recognizing the new engineer her father had hired a few weeks ago. "Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now back to the story." "All right, Carter," replied Robert with an impatient tone, "but keep your daughter in line. This is a serious event." Michael nodded quickly and began guiding the girl to a table in the corner of the hall, away from the other guests. Ashley observed the interaction and felt a pang of sympathy for the man. She knew that tone of voice all too well. Her father used it when he was displeased. The girl, however, didn't seem intimidated by the formal setting. She had curly hair tied in braids and wore a simple white dress with pink ballet flats. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity as she took in everything around her. "Dad, can I have a little treat?" she asked loudly, causing a few people to glance their way. "Emma, lower your voice," Michael whispered, clearly embarrassed. "But why? Everyone else is talking." Michael ran a hand through his hair, trying to think of a response that would satisfy his daughter without drawing more attention. Ashley noticed his dilemma and, for the first time in hours, felt the urge to smile. Emma, apparently tired of sitting still, got up from her chair and began wandering around the hall. Her father tried to discreetly call her back, but she was captivated by the decorations. She stopped at each floral arrangement, carefully touched the table linens, and admired the colorful desserts with genuine awe. Then she noticed Ashley. Unlike the other guests, Emma showed no hesitation at seeing the wheelchair. She simply walked over with the natural ease of a child. "Hi," she said with a bright smile. "Are you the birthday girl? Your dress is really pretty." Ashley blinked a few times, surprised by the girl's directness. "I am. Thank you. What's your name?" "Emma. I'm 6. How old are you?" "Ashley, I'm turning 18 today." "Wow, you're way older than me," Emma giggled. "But you seem nice. Why are you sitting here alone? Everyone's talking to everyone except you." The innocent remark hit Ashley like a punch to the gut. That was exactly how she felt, but no one had ever put it into words so plainly. "I don't really know what to say to these people," Ashley admitted honestly. "Oh, I get it. My dad gets nervous talking to important people too. But he said today is special because it's your birthday. Did you get lots of presents?" Ashley glanced toward the table where several wrapped boxes were piled. "A few, yes. Lucky. I only get lots of presents on my birthday and Christmas. My dad always says gifts are more special when you don't get them every day." Michael finally spotted his daughter and hurried over, his face flushed with embarrassment. "Emma, how many times have I told you not to bother people?" "But I'm not bothering anyone," the girl replied innocently. "Ashley and I were just talking about presents." "I'm sorry, Miss Wilson," Michael said, avoiding direct eye contact. "My daughter doesn't always know when to be quiet." "It's fine," Ashley said quickly. "Actually, I was enjoying the conversation." Michael seemed surprised by her response. He'd expected a reprimand like he usually got when Emma acted spontaneously at formal events. "Really?" he asked, finally looking at Ashley. "Yeah. It's been a while since someone talked to me about something other than how brave or strong I am." A look of understanding crossed Michael's face. He knew all too well what it felt like to be treated differently because of circumstances. "Dad, can I stay here and talk to Ashley?" Emma asked, already settling on the floor beside the wheelchair. Michael hesitated, glancing around to see if anyone was watching. "Emma, maybe it would be better to let Miss Ashley talk to the other guests." "Actually," Ashley interrupted, "I'd rather keep talking with the two of you if you don't mind." Michael seemed genuinely surprised by the invitation. During the few weeks he'd worked for Robert Wilson, he'd heard comments about the boss's daughter, always in that pitying tone people use when talking about family tragedies. He'd never imagined she could be a normal young woman with her own wants and preferences. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Absolutely. Here, sit." Ashley gestured to a nearby chair. "And don't worry about Emma. She's been the best company I've had all evening." Emma smiled proudly and moved even closer to the wheelchair, examining it with genuine curiosity but no awkwardness. "Is this chair yours?" she asked. "Emma," Michael warned, but Ashley waved it off. "Yes, it is. I use it to get around. It must be nice to sit all the time. My feet get tired when I stand too long." Michael opened his mouth to scold his daughter, but Ashley burst out laughing, a real laugh, the first she'd had in weeks. "You have an interesting way of looking at things," Ashley told Emma. "My dad always says I see things differently. Sometimes he likes it, sometimes he doesn't." "And what else do you find interesting about the party?" Ashley asked, genuinely curious about the girl's perspective. "The desserts are really pretty, but I don't think anyone wants to eat them because they're too fancy, and everyone's dressed the same, the men in black suits, the women in dark dresses. It's like uniforms." Michael shifted uncomfortably in his seat. He was wearing a borrowed suit himself, trying to fit into the formal setting. "Emma has very particular opinions about social events," he explained with a half smile. "Honest opinions," Ashley corrected. "And what about you, Michael? What do you think of the party?" It was the first time anyone from the Wilson family had called him by his name, instead of just Carter or the new engineer. The fact that it was the boss's daughter made it even more surreal. "Well, it's very elegant. Your father planned everything carefully." "Diplomatic," Ashley noted with a smile. "But that's not what I asked. What do you really think?" Michael glanced around, checking if anyone was listening. A few guests occasionally glanced their way, but most were absorbed in their own conversations. "Can I be honest?" he asked quietly. please. I think it's a beautiful party, but it doesn't feel like a birthday. It feels more like a corporate event. Ashley nodded slowly. That was exactly how she felt, but she'd never heard anyone say it out loud. And what would a real birthday party look like? She asked. Dad, tell her about my party, Emma chimed in excitedly. Michael flushed slightly. Emma, I don't think Miss Ashley wants to hear about... I do, Ashley cut in. Tell me. Well, for Emma's birthday last year, we had a small party in our apartment. I invited some co-workers and the kids from our building. Emma picked the theme, unicorns. I love unicorns, Emma exclaimed. And what was at the party? Ashley asked, genuinely interested. I made a simple cake, Michael continued, relaxing a little. Shaped like a unicorn, it was a little lopsided, but Emma loved it. There was music, some games, and Uncle Frank did magic, Emma added excitedly. He made a rabbit come out of a fake hat. Uncle Frank? Ashley asked. A neighbor of ours, Michael explained. He's retired and loves doing simple tricks for the kids in the building. Sounds like it was a really nice party, Ashley commented, a note of melancholy in her voice. It was different from this, Michael admitted. More warm, I'd say. Emma suddenly stood up and took Ashley's hand. Do you want me to sing Happy Birthday for you? I can sing really loud. Emma, you don't have to... I'd love that, Ashley said, cutting Michael off again. Emma began singing Happy Birthday in a childish, off-key voice, but full of genuine joy. A few people paused their conversations to look, some with amused smiles, others with disapproving expressions. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot for those of us just starting out. Now, back to the story. When she finished, she clapped enthusiastically. Now you have to make a wish, she said. A wish? Ashley asked. Of course, everyone who has a birthday has to make a wish. My dad always says birthday wishes are special. Ashley closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, there was a new determination in her gaze. Done, I made it. What did you wish for? Emma asked curiously. If I tell you, it won't come true, Ashley replied with a wink. It was then that Robert Wilson approached the small group. His expression was far from friendly. Carter, he said sternly, can I speak with you for a moment? Michael stood immediately, tension returning to his body. Of course, Mr. Wilson. In private. Michael glanced at Emma, who was still beside Ashley, then at his boss's daughter. Emma, stay here with Miss Ashley, please. Dad will be right back. Robert led Michael to a more secluded corner of the hall. Ashley tried not to show she was paying attention to the conversation, but it was hard to ignore her father's sharp gestures. Emma, she said, distracting both the girl and herself, tell me more about that Uncle Frank who does magic tricks. Oh, he's so cool, Emma brightened. He knows card tricks, coin tricks. Once, he made a handkerchief disappear and then reappear in my ear. Must be fun having a neighbor like that. Yeah. He always says magic is about making people smile. He told me that before he learned magic, he was really sad because his wife went to live in heaven. Ashley felt a pang in her chest. The girl had just described loss so innocently and naturally. And now he's not sad anymore, she asked. Sometimes he still is. But he says when he makes people smile, he feels happy too. It's like their happiness helps him remember the good things. The child's simple wisdom struck Ashley unexpectedly. She looked around the party, observing the faces of the guests. Everyone seemed to be playing a role, fulfilling a social obligation. When was the last time she had seen genuine joy at a gathering like this? Michael returned a few minutes later, his expression tense. Emma, we have to go, he said quietly. But Dad, the party isn't over yet, the girl protested. I know, sweetheart, but we need to leave. Ashley sensed something had happened during his talk with her father. Is everything all right? She asked. Michael hesitated before answering. Your father thought it best if we didn't stay too long. We don't want to disrupt the party. You're not disrupting anything, Ashley said firmly. In fact, you're the best part of the party. Thank you, but I think it's better if we go. Emma seemed confused by the sudden shift in mood. Ashley, can you come play at our house someday? She asked innocently. Michael turned even redder. Emma, Miss Ashley must have many important things to do. I'd love to, Ashley said, surprising them both. If you officially invite me, I'll go. Really? Emma jumped with joy. Really, actually. She grabbed a napkin from the nearby table and a pen from her bag. Let me write down my phone number. Michael, you can call me whenever you want. Michael took the paper hesitantly. Miss Ashley, I don't think your father... My father doesn't decide who I can or can't be friends with, she said, with a firmness that surprised even herself. Emma moved closer to Ashley and hugged her spontaneously. Thank you for talking to me, you're really nice. The girl's simple, genuine hug brought tears to Ashley's eyes. How long had it been since someone hugged her so naturally? Thank you, Emma. You're very special, too. Michael watched the interaction between his daughter and Ashley with a thoughtful expression. There was something about the boss's daughter that completely defied the image he'd formed in his mind. Come on, Emma, he said softly. Goodbye, Ashley. Don't forget to call me. I won't forget. Ashley waved as the two headed for the exit. After Michael and Emma left, the rest of the party passed in a blur for Ashley. The formal conversations continued. Guests ate, drank, and made the appropriate small talk, but she felt completely disconnected from it all. When the last guest finally left, Robert approached Ashley with a serious expression. We need to talk, he said. About what, Dad? About your conversation with Carter and his daughter. What about it? Robert sighed and sat in a nearby chair. Ashley, you need to understand those people aren't from our social circle. Carter is just an employee. It's not appropriate for you to mix with... Mix with what? Ashley interrupted, feeling anger rise in her chest. With people from different backgrounds. You're a Wilson. You have a position to uphold. What position, Dad? The position of sitting alone while your business friends pretend to care about me? They do care. They don't. Ashley raised her voice for the first time in years. They see me as Robert Wilson's broken daughter. They pity me. And you. Robert fell silent for a few seconds, clearly not expecting such a strong reaction from his daughter. You're exaggerating. Am I? Then tell me, how many of your friends asked about my plans, my dreams, my opinions on anything beyond my recovery? Robert had no answer. The only person who talked to me like a normal human being today was a 6-year-old girl and her father, and you sent them away. I didn't send them away. I just suggested... Dad, Ashley cut him off again. I'm going to call Michael. I'm accepting Emma's invitation, and if you try to stop me, I'll find a way to leave this house and live my own life. The determination in his daughter's voice stunned Robert. For years, she hadn't shown any will of her own about anything. Ashley, you don't understand the implications. The only implications I see are finally having real friends. Ashley turned her chair toward the building's elevator. I'm tired, Dad. I'm going to my room. Robert was left alone in the silent hall, surrounded by the remnants of the expensive hollow party he'd thrown for his daughter. That night, Ashley stayed up late, staring at the paper with Michael's phone number. For the first time in a long while, she felt there was a real possibility for change in her life. The following Monday, she called him. Hello? Michael's voice sounded cautious on the other end. Michael, it's Ashley. Miss Wilson, I didn't expect... You can just call me Ashley, and I'm calling to accept Emma's invitation. There was a pause on the other end. Ashley, I really appreciate it, but I need to be honest with you. After the party, your father made it very clear that it would be better for me to keep my distance. I don't want to jeopardize my situation at work. I understand your concern, Ashley said calmly, but this is my decision. My father doesn't control my friendships. With all due respect, I don't think you understand the power he has over the lives of people who work for him. Ashley felt a weight in her stomach. She had never considered it from that perspective. You're right, she admitted. I didn't think about that. But does this mean we can't be friends? The genuine sadness in her voice touched Michael. That's not what I want, he said softly. Emma hasn't stopped talking about you since Saturday, but I need to think about our future security. What if I found a way to protect you? How? I don't know yet, but I can try. Michael was silent for a few seconds. Why is this so important to you? He finally asked. Ashley took her time answering. Because for the first time in 3 years, I felt normal. Not like the boss's disabled daughter, not like an object of pity, just normal. The raw honesty of her answer completely disarmed Michael's defenses. Emma was really happy too, he admitted. She doesn't have many adults to talk to besides me and the neighbors in our building. Then let's try, carefully, but let's try. How? Could you meet me somewhere outside the company? Somewhere public where my father has no influence? Michael thought for a moment. There's a park near our apartment on Saturday mornings. Emma likes to play on the playground there. Perfect. Can I come next Saturday? Are you sure you want to do this? I am. Michael, thank you for giving us a chance. Thank you for insisting, he replied, and Ashley could hear a smile in his voice. When she hung up, Ashley felt something she hadn't in a long time, excitement for something good. The following Saturday dawned sunny. Ashley woke up earlier than usual, feeling an energy she hadn't experienced in years. She chose casual clothes, jeans and a comfortable blouse, and asked Martha to call a taxi. Miss, your father asked where you're going, Martha said carefully. Tell him I'm meeting some friends at the park. He said he wants to talk to you before you leave. Ashley sighed. She knew this conversation was inevitable. Robert appeared in the living room a few minutes later, his expression worried. Where are you going? To the park, to meet Michael and Emma. Ashley, we've already talked about this. Yes, we have. And I made my position clear. You're being stubborn and not thinking about the consequences. The consequences of having friends? Ashley asked sarcastically. The consequences of getting involved with people who might take advantage of you. Take advantage how? Ashley, you're a wealthy, vulnerable young woman. That man could be interested in your inheritance. The suggestion made Ashley furious. Vulnerable? Dad, I use a wheelchair. I'm not mentally incapable. And as for my inheritance, they don't even really know who I am beyond being your daughter. Everyone knows who we are. No, Dad. Everyone knows who you are. I'm just the disabled daughter you trot out when you need to seem human. The words hit Robert like a slap. How can you say that? Because it's true. When was the last time you asked what I want to do? What my dreams are? My plans? I care about you. You care about your image. There's a difference. Ashley headed for the door. I'm going to meet my friends. I'll be back for lunch. Ashley, if you walk out now, there will be consequences. She stopped and turned to face him. What kind of consequences? I can cut your allowance. I can stop you from using my cars, my drivers. Then I'll find other ways to get around. And I'll find my own source of income. How? I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. With those words, Ashley left the house for the first time in months, without her father's permission or supervision. The park was in a middle-class neighborhood on the west side of New York City. It was different from the upscale places Ashley usually visited with her family, but there was something comforting about the more relaxed atmosphere. She spotted Michael and Emma near the playground. The little girl was on the swing, and he was gently pushing her, always careful to make sure she didn't fall. Ashley, Emma shouted when she saw her approaching. She jumped off the swing and ran toward the wheelchair, hugging her warmly. Hi, Emma, how are you? Great. Daddy, look who's here. Michael walked over with a genuine smile, but Ashley could see the tension in his eyes. Hi, Ashley. Did you manage to get out without any trouble? Let's just say there were some tough negotiations, she replied with forced humor. Your father wasn't happy. My father is rarely happy with anything I do lately. Emma tugged at Ashley's wheelchair, pulling her toward the playground. Come see how high I can go on the swing. Emma, Ashley can't use the playground, Michael explained gently. Why not? Because there's no way for her to get up there in her chair. But she can watch me play, right? Of course I can, Ashley said. Actually, I'd love to see you. They spent the whole morning at the park. Ashley watched Emma play, talked with Michael about work and life, and for the first time in a long while, she felt like she was part of something normal and healthy. Michael, she said when Emma was distracted by other toys, Can I ask you something personal? Sure. Where's Emma's mother? Michael's face darkened slightly. She isn't with us anymore. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. No, it's okay. Emma was 2 when it happened. A heart condition no one knew she had. It was very sudden. Ashley felt her chest tighten at the pain in his voice. That must have been so hard. It was. It still is sometimes. But Emma gives me the strength to keep going. She's a special little girl. She is. Sometimes I worry if I'm managing to be both father and mother to her. From what I see, you're doing an amazing job. Michael smiled gratefully. Thank you. That means a lot coming from you. Why? Because you could have chosen to be anywhere today, with anyone, and you chose to be here, with us. The simplicity of his words touched Ashley deeply. This is exactly where I want to be, she said sincerely. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps those of us who are just starting out. Now, continuing. When it was time to leave, Emma looked visibly sad. Will you come back next week? She asked. If you'd like, I'd love to. We do, Emma exclaimed, looking at her father for confirmation. Of course, Michael nodded. Same time? Same place? Perfect. On the taxi ride home, Ashley reflected on how much her life had changed in just 1 week. For the first time in years, she had something to look forward to. When she got home, she found Robert waiting in the living room. How was it? He asked, his tone making it clear the question was more of an interrogation than genuine interest. It was wonderful. Emma is a sweet little girl, and Michael is an amazing father. And what exactly did you do? We talked. Emma played on the playground. Normal things normal people do. Ashley, I still don't think this is a good idea. Why, Dad, give me one concrete reason other than your class prejudices. Robert was silent for a few seconds. I just want to protect you. Protect me from what? From being happy? Getting hurt? Dad, I've already been hurt, literally. And what hurts me now isn't accidents or ill-intentioned people. It's the loneliness. It's feeling useless. It's living as if my life ended at 15. The brutal honesty of his daughter left Robert speechless. Michael and Emma make me remember I'm still a person, not just a family tragedy. Robert rose from his chair and walked to the window. I don't know how to handle this situation, he finally admitted. Then let me handle it. And if it goes wrong? And if it goes right? They sat in silence for a few minutes, each lost in their own thoughts. Dad, Ashley said softly, I know you love me and want to protect me, but you can't protect me from life. And a life without risks isn't living, Robert sighed deeply. You grew up without me noticing. The accident forced me to grow up fast. Maybe it's time I accept that. Maybe it is. Robert turned to face his daughter. All right, you can keep seeing them, but on one condition. What? I want to get to know them better, properly. Ashley's eyes widened in surprise. You want to meet Michael and Emma? If they're important to you, then they're important to me too. The shift in her father's attitude completely stunned Ashley. Are you sure? I am. Invite them for dinner here next weekend. Dad, you have to promise you'll be polite. No interrogations or power displays. I'll try. No, promise you will. Robert sighed again. I promise. The following Monday, Ashley called Michael to extend the invitation. As expected, he was extremely nervous at the prospect. Ashley, I'm not sure this is a good idea. Dinner at the boss's house? That could be really awkward. My dad wants to meet you properly. It's a good sign. Or a trap. Michael, trust me. If I thought my dad had bad intentions, I wouldn't make this invitation. What if I say or do something wrong? Just be yourself. That's what I want him to see. What about Emma? She can be very spontaneous. It's exactly her spontaneity that made my dad realize you're special people. Michael was silent for a few seconds. Are you sure this is what you want? I am. Michael, you changed my life. Now I want you to be part of it. Officially. All right. I accept the invitation. Great. Saturday at 7? We'll be there. Saturday arrived with palpable tension in the Wilson household. Ashley had spent the entire afternoon getting ready and making sure everything was perfect for dinner. Robert, meanwhile, was visibly nervous, an unusual sight for those who only knew him in a professional setting. "Dad, relax," Ashley said, watching him adjust the same decorative object for the third time. "I am relaxed. You've been fidgeting with that same figurine for 5 minutes." Robert stopped and looked at his daughter. "It's just been a long time since I've had guests who weren't here for business. They're good, simple people. Just be yourself." "What if I don't know how to be myself outside of work?" The question revealed a vulnerability in Robert that Ashley rarely saw. "Dad, you do know, you've just forgotten a little." The doorbell rang at exactly 7. Martha went to answer it and announced the guest's arrival. Michael was impeccable in a simple but well-fitted dark suit. Emma wore a navy blue dress with patent leather shoes, her hair pulled into an elegant bun. It was obvious they'd prepared very carefully for the occasion. "Good evening, Mr. Wilson," Michael greeted formally. "Good evening, Carter." "Michael," Robert corrected himself. "Thank you for accepting the invitation." Emma approached Robert with the natural ease of children. "Hi, Uncle Robert. Your house is so big." Michael turned red. "Emma, you should call him Mr. Wilson." "That's not necessary," Robert said, surprising everyone. "Uncle Robert is just fine." Ashley watched the interaction with a smile. Her father was clearly making a genuine effort. During dinner, the conversation flowed more naturally than anyone had expected. Emma, as always, broke through any excessive formality with her innocent remarks and direct questions. "Uncle Robert, what do you do for work?" she asked. "I build buildings and houses." "Like castles?" "A little bit like that, yes." "That's so cool. Have you ever built a real castle?" Robert laughed, a genuine laugh Ashley hadn't heard in a long time. "Not exactly castles, but I've built some very tall and beautiful buildings." "My dad builds things too," Emma said proudly. "He helped me make a dollhouse in our apartment." "Really?" Robert looked at Michael with renewed interest. "Tell me about that." Michael, who had been tense throughout the meal, began to relax as he talked about the little projects he did with his daughter. "It's nothing too elaborate," he said, "but Emma likes to help, so we do it together." "That's very important," Robert remarked, and there was a note of melancholy in his voice. I didn't do those things with Ashley when she was little. I was always too busy with work." The comment created a moment of thoughtful silence at the table. "It's never too late to start," Michael said kindly. "That's right, Dad," Ashley added. "We have plenty of time to make up for it." After dinner, they moved to the living room. Emma was fascinated by the art objects and books in the house, asking questions about everything. "Ashley," she said suddenly, "do you draw?" "A little." "Why?" "Because you have so many books about art. My dad says people who have books about something like that thing." "You're very observant," Ashley smiled. "I do like to draw. Can I see your drawings?" Ashley hesitated. She hadn't shown her work to anyone in years. "They're not very good." "I'd like to see them too," Michael said gently. "If you're comfortable, of course." Ashley looked at her father, who nodded encouragingly. "Okay, but don't expect too much." She went to fetch her sketchbook from her room and returned a few minutes later. With trembling hands, she opened the notebook and showed some drawings. The work was, in fact, very good. There were portraits, urban landscapes seen from her bedroom window, and detailed studies of everyday objects. "Ashley, these drawings are amazing," Michael exclaimed, genuinely impressed. "They really are beautiful," Robert added, looking at his daughter's work with an expression of surprise and pride. "You draw so well," Emma said, carefully flipping through the pages. "Can you draw a portrait of me?" "You'd like that?" "I'd love it." Ashley picked up a pencil and a blank sheet. In just a few minutes, she had created a charming portrait of Emma, perfectly capturing her mischievous smile and bright eyes. "Wow," Michael said, impressed. "You have real talent." "Why didn't you ever show me these drawings before?" Robert asked. Because I thought you wouldn't be interested. You always said I should focus on practical studies." Robert fell silent for a moment, clearly reflecting on his past words. "I was wrong," he finally said. "This is a talent that should be nurtured." The evening continued with conversations about art, dreams, and future plans. For the first time in years, the Wilson home was filled with genuine laughter and real human connection. When it was time for Michael and Emma to leave, there was a palpable shift in the atmosphere. "Thank you for the wonderful dinner," Michael said at the gate. "Thank you for accepting the invitation," Robert replied. "And Michael, stop by my office on Monday. I'd like to talk to you about some projects." Michael looked worried. "Did I do something wrong?" "Quite the opposite. You did everything right." After the guests had left, father and daughter were alone in the living room. "What did you think?" Ashley asked. "I think you were right," Robert admitted. "They're good people. And that girl, she's special." "She is. And so is Michael." "Ashley, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Are you interested in Michael romantically?" The question caught Ashley off guard. "I don't know. I haven't thought about it that way. Why?" "Because I saw the way you two look at each other, and how he cares for you." Ashley blushed slightly. "Even if I were, it would be too complicated. The social differences, his job, differences can be overcome if there are real feelings," Robert said thoughtfully. "Dad, are you really encouraging me to be interested in one of your employees?" Robert smiled. "I'm encouraging you to follow your heart, something I should have done a long time ago." The following Monday, Michael knocked on Robert's office door, his heart racing. He had spent the entire Sunday imagining possible scenarios, most of them ending with him getting fired. "Come in, Michael, have a seat." "Mr. Wilson, if I did anything inappropriate at dinner—" "You did nothing inappropriate. Quite the opposite. You showed me something I'd lost sight of." Michael frowned, confused. "You showed me how important it is to be present in the lives of the people we love. How good it is to share simple, genuine moments." "I don't understand." "Michael, I've been an absent father. I always put work first. Always thought financial success was the only thing that mattered. And when my daughter had her accident, I didn't know how to handle it. I kept treating everything like a business problem to be solved." Michael listened in silence. "But seeing the three of you together on Saturday, I saw my daughter smile in a way I hadn't seen in years. I saw her excited about something, interested in something, and I realized I wasn't giving her what she really needed." "What did she need?" "Real human connection, true friendship, the feeling that she matters as a person, not just as a victim of tragedy." Robert stood and walked to the window. "I want to offer you a promotion." Michael's eyes widened. "Sir?" "I need someone to lead a new department. Custom residential projects. You'd have your own team, a significantly better salary, and more flexible hours." I don't know what to say." "Say yes, and accept it for the right reason." "What's the right reason?" "Because you're capable and deserve the opportunity, not because you're friends with my daughter." Michael was silent for a few seconds, processing the offer. "Can I ask why you're doing this?" "Because I want my daughter to have good people around her, and I want those people to feel they can be honest with me, without fear of retaliation. And if things get complicated, personally, I mean," Robert smiled, "then we'll handle the complications when they come, like a family." The word family echoed in the office in a way neither of them expected. "I accept," Michael finally said. "Great. You start in the new position next Monday." Over the following months, everyone's lives changed dramatically. Michael took on his new role with dedication and skill, quickly proving Robert had made the right decision. Emma became a constant presence in the Wilson home, bringing life and joy to rooms that had once been cold and formal. Ashley, inspired by the encouragement of her new friends, began taking her drawings more seriously. She enrolled in online art classes and started developing a more elaborate portfolio. "Ashley," Michael said during one of their Saturday dinners that had become a tradition, "have you ever thought about trying to sell your work?" "Sell? Do you think anyone would buy them?" "I'm sure of it. Your portraits are incredible. Where would I even sell them?" "There are several small galleries around the city that feature local artists, or you could start online." "I don't know. It sounds pretty scary." "Dad," Emma interrupted, "you could help her." How so, sweetheart? You could use your computer magic to put her drawings online. Michael laughed. Computer magic is a great way to put it. But yes, I could help you set up a website or an online profile. Ashley looked at her father, who had been quiet during the conversation. What do you think, Dad? I think you should go for it. And if you need any initial investment, you can count on me. The idea began to take shape in the following weeks. Michael helped Ashley create a profile on an online sales platform and photograph her work professionally. Robert, using his connections, managed to get a few decor companies to look at her portfolio. The first sale happened 3 weeks later, a family portrait commissioned through the online platform. I can't believe it, Ashley exclaimed when she got the confirmation. Someone actually bought my drawing. And it won't be the last, Michael said confidently. He was right. Within 2 months, Ashley had a waiting list of clients wanting custom portraits. I think I'll need my own workspace, she said during dinner one evening. My room is turning into a messy studio. I can convert one of the guest rooms for you, Robert suggested. Actually, Dad, I've been thinking about something else. What? Moving into my own apartment. Something smaller, more suited to my needs, but completely independent. The suggestion caught Robert off guard. You want to move out? I want to live my own life, with my own money, my own space. Not because I don't love being here, but because I want to prove to myself that I can. Robert fell silent for a few seconds, clearly torn between his protective instincts and the pride he felt for his daughter's independence. If that's what you want, I support you, he finally said. Really, but on one condition. What? That you let me help you find something safe and suitable. Deal. Over the next few weeks, they looked at wheelchair-accessible apartments. Michael, with his construction experience, joined them on visits to check the quality of the adaptations. This one is perfect, he said, during a visit to an apartment in Brooklyn Heights. Great location, fully accessible, and the building has 24-hour security. And it's close to our place, Emma added excitedly. I can visit you all the time. It really would be perfect, Ashley agreed. 2 months later, she moved into her first own apartment. The move represented much more than just a change of address. It was the realization of her independence. How do you feel? Michael asked as he helped assemble the last pieces of furniture. Scared and excited at the same time, Ashley admitted. That's normal. Independence always comes with those two feelings. Michael, can I ask you something? Of course. How did you find the courage to start over alone after you lost your wife? Michael paused what he was doing and looked at her. I didn't have much of a choice. I had Emma depending on me. But to be honest, there were many days when I wasn't sure I could do it. What kept you going? Knowing that my wife would have wanted me to move forward. And then, as time passed, the realization that I still had so much life to live. So now, how do you feel about the future? Michael smiled, more hopeful than I felt in a long time. There was something in the way he said it that made Ashley's heart race. Michael. Yes? I'm glad you and Emma came into my life. We are too. They looked at each other for a few seconds, and for the first time both acknowledged that something deeper was growing between them. Ashley's art business continued to grow. Within 6 months, she had a stable monthly income and a solid reputation as a portrait artist. Michael had been promoted again and was leading some of the company's most important projects. Their relationship also evolved naturally. What had started as friendship gradually turned into something deeper, but both were careful not to rush anything. Ashley, Michael said during a walk in the park where they first met, can I be honest about something? Always. I think I'm falling in love with you. Ashley's heart skipped a beat, but she wasn't surprised by the revelation. She'd felt the same way for weeks. And I think I've already fallen for you, she replied. Really? Really, but I'm scared. Of what? That it might complicate everything. Your work, our friendship, my dad's opinion. I already talked to your dad about it, Michael admitted. You did? When? Last week. I told him I had feelings for you and wanted to know if it would be a problem. And what did he say? That it was about time I admitted it, because you two had obviously been interested in each other for months. Ashley laughed. He really said that? He did. And he also said if I ever hurt you, he'd send me to build houses in Alaska. They both laughed at the affectionate threat. So, Michael continued, would you like to have dinner with me tomorrow? Officially, as a date? I'd love to. Their first official date took place at a small, cozy restaurant in Williamsburg, far from the formal settings Ashley was used to, but perfectly suited to what they'd built together. You know, Ashley said over dessert, I never imagined my life could change so much in such a short time. For the better? Definitely for the better. A year ago, I felt like my life was over. Today, I feel like it's just beginning. Mine too, Michael agreed. Emma adores you, my career is going well, and I've found someone who makes me excited to wake up every day. Does Emma know about us? She asked the other day if you were going to be her new mom, Michael said with an embarrassed smile. And what did you say? I told her these things happen slowly and naturally. Was she happy with that answer? She said she hoped so, because she really likes you and thinks you'd make a great mom. Ashley's eyes welled up with emotion. She really said that? She did. And she also said you draw well and make her laugh. Are those important qualifications? The most important of all. They dated for 8 months before Michael proposed. It wasn't a grand or flashy proposal. It happened in Ashley's apartment on an ordinary Tuesday night while she was sketching and he was helping Emma with homework. Ashley, he said suddenly. Yes? Marry me. She looked up from her drawing and saw him holding a small, simple but beautiful ring. Really? Really? I love you, Emma loves you, and I can't imagine a future without you in it. Yes, she said without hesitation. Yes, I will. Emma, who had been watching quietly, squealed with joy and ran to hug them both. Now I'll have a real mom, she exclaimed. The wedding took place 6 months later in a small, intimate ceremony in Robert's backyard. Unlike the cold, formal birthday party where they had first met, the wedding was filled with warmth and genuine love. During the vows, Ashley spoke about how Michael and Emma had restored her hope and desire to live fully. Michael talked about how Ashley had shown him it was possible to love again and build a new family without forgetting the past. Robert, who walked the bride down the aisle, openly cried during the ceremony. I'm so proud of you, he whispered to Ashley before handing her over to Michael. Thank you for finally letting me be myself, she replied. 2 years after the wedding, Ashley had become a recognized artist in New York City, with her works displayed in several galleries across the city. Michael had started his own architecture firm, specializing in adaptive residential designs. Emma, now 10 years old, was a confident and happy girl who naturally called Ashley Mom. Mom, she said during breakfast one Sunday morning, can I ask you something? Of course, sweetheart. Do you regret anything? The question caught Ashley off guard. Regret how? The accident, the wheelchair, those things. Ashley thought carefully before answering. That's a hard question, Emma. I don't like that the accident happened, and sometimes I still miss being able to walk. But if it hadn't happened, maybe I never would have met you. That's true, Emma agreed thoughtfully. Why do you ask? Because my teacher said sometimes bad things lead to good things, and I thought about our family. What did you think? That sometimes the best things come from the saddest moments. The simple wisdom of the girl touched Ashley deeply. She looked around the kitchen, watching Michael flip pancakes in a ridiculous apron Emma had given him as a gift, listening to the laughter of the two most important people in her life, and realized Emma was absolutely right. You're very wise for a 10-year-old, she said, hugging her stepdaughter. I learned from you, Emma replied simply. That same Sunday afternoon, while Michael and Emma were at the park, Ashley received a call from a prominent New York City gallery. Miss Wilson. Sorry, Mrs. Carter. The voice on the other end corrected itself. We have a proposal for you. What kind of proposal? We'd like to organize a solo exhibition of your work. It would be your first one. Ashley felt her heart race. Really? When? In 3 months. The theme would be portraits of contemporary life. We're especially interested in your latest pieces. I'd love that. Wonderful. Let's schedule a meeting to discuss the details. When she hung up, Ashley couldn't contain her excitement. She immediately called Michael. Sweetheart, you won't believe what just happened. What? The Whitney Gallery wants to give me a solo exhibition. Seriously? Ashley, that's amazing. I'm so proud of you. Can I talk to Emma? Of course. Emma, your mum wants to talk to you. Hi, Mum. Emma, guess what? I'm going to have my own art show. That's so cool. Can I tell everyone at school my mum's a famous artist? Of course, honey. And can I bring my friends to see it? Absolutely. You'll be my special guests. When Michael and Emma returned from the park, they found Ashley on the phone with Robert, sharing the news. Dad, you have to come to the opening, she was saying. I wouldn't miss it for the world. In fact, can I invite some clients? I think they'd be interested in your work. Of course, the more the merrier. When she hung up, Michael wrapped her in a tight hug. I'm so happy for you. You deserve all this recognition. We deserve it, she corrected. None of this would have been possible without your support. And without your courage, Emma added. Remember when you were afraid to show your drawings? I do. It feels like another lifetime. It was another lifetime, Michael observed. A life before you decided to truly live. The exhibition was an absolute success. The gallery was packed on opening night, with people admiring not just Ashley's refined technique, but also the sensitivity with which she captured the essence of her subjects. Your work has a rare emotional quality, an art critic commented. You don't just show what people look like, you show who they are. Thank you. I think that comes from understanding that everyone has a story beyond what they show on the surface. Throughout the evening, Ashley watched her family moving through the gallery. Robert was enthusiastically talking to potential buyers, clearly proud of his daughter. Michael explained technical details to anyone who asked, always mentioning his wife's natural talent. And Emma, elegant in a new dress, played the role of junior hostess, telling anyone who would listen that this was her mom, the artist. How do you feel? Michael asked, joining her during a quieter moment. Complete, she answered without hesitation. For the first time in my life, I feel like I'm exactly who I'm meant to be. And who is that? I'm an artist. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a daughter. I'm someone who uses a wheelchair, but that's just one part of my story, not the whole thing. That's the best definition of yourself you've ever given, Michael said, kissing her softly. I learned from all of you that we're so much more than our limitations. The exhibition ran for 2 months and sold over 70% of the pieces. Ashley received commissions from across the country and even some international inquiries. I think we're going to need a bigger studio, Michael remarked, looking at his wife's packed schedule. I was thinking the same thing. Maybe it's time to take things to the next level. What if we opened an art school? Emma suggested during dinner. You could teach others how to draw. The idea planted a seed in Ashley's mind. In the weeks that followed, she couldn't stop thinking about the possibility. Michael, she said one night, what if we really did open an art school? Are you serious? I am. A school focused on art for people with disabilities. Not as therapy, but as real artistic development. Michael's eyes lit up. That would be amazing. And I could design a fully accessible space. And I could help decorate, Emma added excitedly. Are you both really up for this adventure with me? We're a family, Michael said. We take every adventure together. The school project took a year to get off the ground. Michael designed an innovative space, fully adapted for people with different disabilities. Ashley developed a curriculum that combined artistic technique with confidence building. Robert provided the initial investment and became one of the project's biggest advocates. I'm so proud of what you're building, he said during a visit to the construction site. Thank you for believing in us, Dad. Thank you for teaching me that true success isn't just measured in money. The Carter Wilson Inclusive Art School opened 2 years after Ashley and Michael's wedding. On the first day of classes, they welcomed 15 students of different ages and disabilities. Welcome, Ashley said during the inaugural class, to a space where you are not defined by your limitations, but by your potential. Among the students was Olivia, a 20-year-old woman who had lost her sight in an accident but dreamed of creating tactile sculptures. There was also Richard, a 60-year-old man who had suffered a stroke and wanted to paint landscapes again. And Samantha, a teenager with cerebral palsy who communicated through a computer but had incredible visual ideas. "Each of you has a unique perspective on the world," Michael said during his presentation on adaptive design. "Our role here is to help you express that perspective through art." Emma, now 12, also had her place in the school. She became the junior assistant, helping younger students and always bringing her fresh, unbiased perspective. "Emma," Olivia said during a sculpture class, "can you describe the color blue to me?" Emma thought for a moment. "Blue is like the sound of running water on a quiet day. It's cool but not cold. It's like a hug from the sky." The girl's poetic description inspired Olivia to create a sculpture she called Hug from the Sky, which would later be displayed in a local gallery. The school quickly gained recognition in New York City's art community. Graduates began exhibiting their work in galleries, some secured art scholarships, and others opened their own studios. "You've created something very special here," a journalist remarked during a feature on the school. "How did this idea come about?" "It came from realizing that everyone has something unique to offer the world," Ashley replied. "Disability doesn't erase talent, it just changes how it's expressed." "And what's next for the school?" "We want to expand," Michael explained. "We plan to open a second location in Queens next year." "And after that?" the journalist asked. "After that, who knows?" Ashley smiled. "Maybe other cities, maybe online programs. The important thing is to keep showing that physical limitations don't limit creativity." 3 years after the school's opening, it had already graduated over 100 students and had a 6-month waiting list. Ashley had become a national figure in inclusive art, invited to speak and consult across the country. "Mum," Emma said one night, "do you remember how it all started? With you asking if I was sad at my birthday party. And were you?" "I was. Very sad and very lost. And now?" Ashley looked around. Michael was in the office finishing plans for the school's second location. On the walls were students' drawings mixed with her own work. On the table, invitations to exhibitions and events. On the couch, Emma with her school books and sketch pads. "Now I'm the happiest person in the world," she answered honestly. "Even with the wheelchair." "Emma, the wheelchair is part of who I am. It's not something I overcame or that keeps me from being happy. It's just part of my story." "I see. Like Grandpa Robert's glasses or Dad's knee scar." "Exactly." "Mum?" "Yes?" "Thank you for teaching me that special people come in all kinds of forms." Ashley smiled and hugged her daughter. "Thank you for showing me I was special before I even knew it." That night, after everyone was asleep, Ashley stayed in the living room looking at family photos. There was one from her 18th birthday party where she stood alone and sad. There were pictures of their first date in the park, their wedding, the first exhibition opening, and the school's launch. It was hard to believe that the lonely, hopeless young woman in the first photo had become the fulfilled woman in the most recent pictures. Not because she had overcome her disability, but because she had learned to live fully with it. Michael walked into the room from the office. "Can't sleep?" he asked. "I was thinking." "About what?" "About how strange life is. If you had told me at that birthday party that I'd become a famous artist, have a school, be married and a mother, I would have thought you were crazy. And if I told you I'd meet the love of my life at my boss's daughter's birthday party, you would have thought I was delirious." They laughed together. "Michael, yes? Do you regret anything?" "Like what?" "Getting involved with your boss's disabled daughter, changing your life completely." Michael looked at her seriously. "Ashley, you defining yourself as the disabled daughter is the most wrong thing you could say." "Why?" "Because you're Ashley, an artist, a businesswoman, a wife, a mother, a daughter, a friend. You're 1,000 things before being anything related to your wheelchair." the question stands, do you regret it? What exactly would I regret? Finding an incredible partner, seeing our daughter happy and confident, building a career that fulfills me, being part of a project that changes lives? When you put it that way... Ashley, if I could go back in time and change one thing, you know what I'd change? What? I'd have arrived earlier to that party. She laughed and kissed him. I love you, Michael Carter. I love you, Ashley Carter. The next day, Ashley received an unexpected call. Ashley, this is Sarah Johnson from the National Institute for Contemporary Arts. Hi, Sarah. How can I help? Actually, we want to help you. We have a proposal. What kind of proposal? We'd like to appoint you as our National Ambassador for Inclusive Art. It would be a paid position involving lectures, consulting, and developing programs nationwide. Ashley nearly dropped the phone. Are you serious? Completely. Your work at the school and as an artist caught the attention of the Department of Arts and Culture. They want to implement similar programs across the country. I need to talk to my family. Of course. But Ashley, you'd be the first person with a disability to hold this position. It would be historic. When she hung up, Ashley stood still for a few minutes, processing the information. Historic. She, who years ago felt invisible, could now make history. What's that look for? Michael asked as he entered the room. I just got a job offer. What kind of offer? Ashley told him about the call. Michael was silent for a few seconds. And what do you want to do? I want to accept it, but I'm afraid it'll change our routine, our family. Ashley, this is the opportunity of a lifetime, and more importantly, it's an opportunity for thousands of people like you across France. You're right. Besides, Michael smiled, I've always wanted to see all of France, and Emma will love the trips. You'd come with me? Of course, we're a family, remember? We go together. The following week, Ashley officially accepted the position. The inauguration ceremony took place in Washington, D.C., attended by government officials, renowned artists, and most importantly to her entire family. It is with great honor, said the Secretary of Arts and Culture during the event, that we appoint Ashley Carter as our first National Ambassador for Inclusive Art. In her inauguration speech, Ashley spoke about her personal and professional journey. 5 years ago, I felt invisible. I thought my life had ended at 15. Today, I stand here representing thousands of Americans with incredible talents who often don't have the opportunity to show them. She looked at the audience and spotted the faces of Michael, Emma, and Robert. I've learned that our limitations don't define our potential. I've learned that family can be formed in the most unexpected ways, and I've learned that sometimes the best things in life come from the hardest moments. After the speech, there was a reception where Ashley met several artists with disabilities from across the country. Mrs. Carter, said a young wheelchair-bound painter from Louisiana, you have no idea what it means to have someone like you in this position. Someone like me. Someone who understands our reality, but also shows us we can go beyond it. Conversations like this repeated throughout the night. Ashley realized the responsibility she was taking on, but also the unique opportunity to make a difference in so many lives. In the following months, she traveled across France implementing inclusive art programs. She visited schools, universities, rehabilitation centers, and NGOs. In every place, she found people with stories similar to hers, wasted talents, abandoned dreams, unexplored potential. The goal, she explained in every talk, isn't to make therapeutic art. It's to make art, real, professional, marketable art that competes on equal terms in the marketplace. In New Orleans, she met a group of visually impaired musicians who had formed a jazz band. In Miami, she found a cooperative of wheelchair-bound artisans creating ceramic pieces. In Minnesota, she discovered a dance school for people with different disabilities. Talent is everywhere, she told Michael during one of their trips. It just needed opportunity and recognition. And someone like you to open doors. No, someone like us. This was only possible because we had a family who believed. Emma, who joined them whenever possible, became a kind of young ambassador. At 15, she spoke naturally about inclusion and diversity. always with the unique perspective of someone raised in a non-traditional family. "My mum taught me that normal is just a setting on the washing machine," she said during an interview for a youth TV show. "Everyone has their own version of normal." The phrase went viral on social media and became an unofficial motto for the inclusive art programs. 5 years after becoming ambassador, Ashley had helped implement over 200 inclusive art programs across France. The original school in New York City had expanded to 5 locations, with plans for franchises in other cities. "You've changed the national arts scene," a journalist remarked during a special interview for the program's anniversary. "I didn't do it alone. Thousands of people helped, artists, educators, families, local governments. But you were the catalyst." Maybe. But the most important thing is that there's now a system. When I'm no longer here, the work will continue. "Are you planning to retire?" Ashley laughed. "Retire at 30? I don't think so, but I do want to spend more time at home with my family. Emma is finishing high school, and we want to be there for this stage." "And what about your personal plans?" "Michael and I are thinking about expanding our family." The journalist was surprised. "You want to have children?" "We want to adopt. There are so many children with disabilities who need families, and we already know what it's like to raise a special child." The interview aired on a Thursday night. By Friday morning, Ashley had received over 50 calls from institutions across the country offering children for adoption. "I think we hit a nerve," Michael remarked as the phone kept ringing. "Special needs children are always the last to be adopted," Ashley explained. "People are afraid. How afraid we were of each other at first." "Exactly, but love conquers fear." 6 months later, they adopted Nathan, an 8-year-old boy with Down syndrome who had been abandoned by his biological parents at age 3. "Hi, Nathan," Emma said on his first day at home. "I'm your big sister. I'll teach you all about our crazy family." Nathan smiled shyly and waved. "Crazy family good?" he asked. "It's the best there is," Emma replied, "because in a crazy family, everyone is accepted exactly as they are." Nathan's adjustment was surprisingly smooth. He fit into the family routine as if he'd always been there. He showed immediate interest in art, especially sculpture and crafts. "He has an artist's hands," Ashley remarked as she watched Nathan working with clay. "And an artist's heart too," Michael added, observing the boy's concentration and joy during his projects. Within 2 years, Nathan was already exhibiting small pieces at the art school and had sold some works at a charity event. "Nathan makes happy art," he explained to a reporter doing a story on the family. "Happy art makes people smile." The boy's simple philosophy became part of the school's identity and national programs. On the school's 10th anniversary, they organized a special exhibition featuring works from all the students who had passed through its doors. The main gallery in New York City was reserved entirely for the event. "I can't believe we've come this far," Ashley said to Michael as they watched people from across the country admiring the artwork. "I always knew we would," he replied, "ever since that first afternoon in the park." "How did you know?" "Because I saw determination in your eyes, and because I saw you weren't just interested in being helped, you wanted to help others too." Emma, now 21 and studying education with a focus on inclusive learning, approached her parents. "Did you see the TV feature?" "What feature?" "They're calling our school the national model for inclusive education. Delegations from other countries want to visit." "Really?" Ashley asked, surprised. "Really? Dad, you might have to design an international version of the project." Michael smiled. "It would be an honor. And Mom, they want to translate your book into English and Spanish." Ashley had written a book on inclusive art the previous year, which had become an academic reference on the subject. "The world is discovering what we already knew," Nathan said, joining the group, "that everyone can make beautiful art." "That's right, son," Ashley agreed, hugging the 14-year-old who now called her Mom without hesitation. "Mom," Nathan continued, "can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Are you happy?" The simple, direct question touched Ashley deeply. She looked around, her husband tirelessly working on life-changing projects, her eldest daughter following in the family's footsteps in education, her youngest son flourishing as both an artist and a person. hundreds of people admiring art created by those society once ignored. "Nathan," she answered, "I'm happier than I ever imagined possible. Even with the wheelchair?" "Especially with the wheelchair." "Why?" "Because the wheelchair brought me all of you. It brought me this life. It gave me the chance to show the world we're so much more than our limitations suggest." Nathan nodded thoughtfully. "So the wheelchair isn't bad. The wheelchair is just a tool, like a paintbrush or a pencil. What matters is what we do with it." That evening, after the event, the family gathered at home for a conversation that had become tradition, reflecting on how far they'd come and dreaming about the future. "Do you remember how it all began?" Michael asked. "With a curious little girl asking if she could play with the sad birthday girl," Emma replied. "And with a nervous father trying to keep his daughter well behaved," Ashley added. "And with a sad young woman who didn't know her life was about to change," Nathan finished, showing the wisdom he'd gained over the years. "So now what?" Michael asked. "What comes next?" "Now we keep growing," Ashley said. "As a family, as professionals, as people who make a difference in the world. And we keep showing that love doesn't have one single shape," Emma added. "And that art is for everyone," Nathan said excitedly. "And that sometimes the happiest endings start with the saddest moments," Michael concluded, looking tenderly at his wife. Ashley smiled, thinking of the lonely young woman she'd been 10 years ago. That girl could never have imagined her life would transform so completely and wonderfully. "You know what I've learned?" she said to her family. "I've learned there's no such thing as a perfect life. There are fulfilling lives. And a fulfilling life is one where you have purpose, love, and the chance to make a difference." "Do we have all that?" Nathan asked. "We have all that and so much more," she replied, hugging her son. "So much more what?" Emma asked curiously. "We have each other, and that's more than anything I could have wished for on that lonely 18th birthday." "What did you actually wish for that day?" Michael asked. "You've never told us." Ashley smiled mysteriously. "I wished to find my place in the world." "And did you?" "I did. My place in the world is right here with you, making a difference in people's lives, showing that everyone has something unique to offer." "Even if it's different from what other families do?" Nathan asked. "Especially because it's different. Normal families are overrated," Emma teased. "Special families are way more interesting," Michael agreed. "And families who choose each other are the best of all," Ashley finished. They sat in silence for a few minutes, each lost in their own thoughts about the journey they'd shared. "Mom," Nathan said suddenly. "Yes, sweetheart. Thank you for letting me be part of this crazy family." "Thank you for choosing to be part of it," Ashley replied, her eyes glistening. "Thank you for teaching me that family isn't just about DNA," Emma added. "Thank you for showing me that love multiplies instead of divides," Michael said. And there, in that simple but art-filled living room, in that untraditional but deeply bonded family, in that moment of pure gratitude and love, Ashley understood completely what happiness was. It wasn't the absence of hardship. It wasn't a life without challenges. Happiness was having people who loved you exactly as you were, a purpose that motivated you every day, and the chance to make a difference in the world. 10 years after that lonely, sad birthday, she'd found all that and so much more. "I love you," she said simply. "We love you too," they answered in unison. And in that moment, surrounded by the most important people in her life, Ashley Carter knew with absolute certainty that she'd found exactly what she'd wished for years ago. Her place in the world. A place built on unconditional love, shared purpose, and the certainty that everyone, absolutely everyone, has something precious to offer. The end. And now, dear listeners, we've reached the end of this heartfelt journey. What did you think of Ashley's transformation? Do you believe true love can really overcome all barriers? Share your thoughts in the comments about this story of resilience, love, and family. Don't forget to leave your like if this story touched your hearts, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss other inspiring tales like this one. Thank you so much for joining us.